Hi everyone, so I just wanted to record another quick update on what we've been doing with Blue since the last episode. So basically he's coming on very nicely. We've been working an awful lot on his socialisation, which is really important. Getting him out and about, experiencing the world, making sure that if there's anything he's afraid of, we're allowing him to work through that and build that confidence, which is the other thing we've been really working on, his self-confidence. So one of the things I've started working him on recently is box feeding. Now, box feeding is an exercise whereby you basically are asking the dog to push through and ignore any distractions that you may throw at them, and thereby them learning to basically, ignore things that may be potentially worrying for them and helps be rewarded for doing so. Now, there's lots of great videos out there on box feeding. I recommend, if you look up Pat Stewart at Operant Canine, he's got some great videos on box feeding, so I'm not going to go into kind of how that works and how you go about it, but it's a really, really good exercise to work with a young puppy on, just to start building up a little bit of power, a bit of stickiness, a bit of confidence in them to go after the treats, and also to desensitize them against things that potentially worry them. The other thing we've been also working on, and what I really wanted to work on or speak to about in this video, is the importance of always keeping your puppy on a long line. So it's very tempting because puppies don't really stray too far from you, right? Because they're young and they're not very confident, they don't really stray too far away from you, and so it's very easy to kind of get complacent and go, oh, I've got a great puppy, it sticks nice and close to me, I don't need to worry about it ranging too far and so on. The problem is that changes when they reach that sort of teenagery phase at around about, 6 to 9 months of age, depending on the dog and breed and so on. They go through a bit of a stage where they start pushing the boundaries, and that's when they can really learn the art of willful disobedience. And the art of willful disobedience is not something you want your dogs to learn, really, okay? It's them kind of basically, if you look at it in a recall situation, for example, is you saying to them, come, and then going, don't want to, and because you've got no control over them, they basically self-reward for ignoring you, and so they learn that art of willful disobedience pretty well. It's really important, therefore, to always make sure you keep your dog on a long line. So you see here in the video with Blue, doesn't matter what he's doing, whether he's rolling around the grass, whether he's walking around and so on, he's always on that long line. Now, the reason being is that when I say come, as I do in this video here that you'll see, basically what I'm wanting is him to think that right from a young age that's non-negotiable. If I say come, that's what's happening. So he's got two choices. He can either come to me of his own free will, and I want him to ideally come in a nice straight line, jump through any long grass, push through things, because that's confidence. I don't want him edging around things. I want him to come by the most direct route he can, straight back to me as soon as I ask him to, and get a nice reward. But conversely, if he chooses not to, I will simply gently but swiftly reel him straight back in on that long line, okay? Most of the problem you have with dogs, if they don't end up with a solid recall, is because they've learnt that art of willful disobedience. You want them to make their own decisions, but you want them to make the right decision in the right context. And for situations where it's important for their safety, like a recall situation, we need to know that that's reliable and they will comply when asked. So it's not something you'd nag them with. We don't do it all the time. Don't not be chasing them around, yelling at them to come all the time just because they're sniffing something or, whatever. You've got to reserve it and make sure you use it for moments that's important. But if you do say it, it's got to be in your dog's mind, non-negotiable. They've got to firmly believe right to their very core that if you say that word, there is in no world or no situation where that is not what is happening straight away. Now, if you can get your dog to the point where they firmly believe that, and starting it off as a young puppy is the best way to do so, then you don't have any problems, building that nice, powerful, fast recall. The other thing to remember, of course, is when you don't have your long line, your dog isn't attached to the long line, make sure you do not devalue your come command by using it in a time when your dog is not going to be compliant. Now, I might have touched on this in previous videos, and I almost certainly will again in future videos, but it's really, really important where if your dog is not on the long line, so while they're in the learning phase, while you're still teaching them, if you can't make that compliance happen, when you say that important word, then you need to make sure you do something else. Don't devalue that word by giving them the opportunity to ignore it and then learn that they can. Okay, so that's when in a situation like that you want to be running away from them, making little kissy sounds. You want to be doing something else to lure them to you, rather than run risk of devaluing your come command. Okay, so I hope that's helpful. As you can see from the videos, Blue's growing like a weed. He's double the size now, I reckon, as when we first got him a few weeks ago. But he's coming on really nicely. His look is impeccable. I mean, he can be doing anything I ask him to look, and he instantly stops and gives me eye contact, and his undivided eye contact, which is exactly what I want, because that allows me to solve most issues. So that's what I'm working on the most. But I'm building him up towards his stop command, which is our command we use for basically whatever it is you're doing. Stop doing it and give me attention. So that can be whether they're running towards me, running away from me, going after a snake, a cane toad, engaging with people and dogs I don't want them to, anything like that. The stop command simply means stop, drop to your belly, give me your undivided attention until I give you, the next kind of guidance that I'm going to give you. And I'm starting to work on him now. Well, obviously the progression plan for that is working on that look, getting that really solid. So I'm now working on duration. So I'll get him to look, hold eye contact with me for 5-10 seconds now before he gets his yes and his reward. And I'm also working on that down, okay, as well as starting to work a little bit on that recall. Any questions, obviously, as usual, put them up in the comments, but otherwise we'll get another video out soon. Otherwise, take care everyone, and we'll catch you all later. See ya, bye.